This is December 18, meeting of the Nashoba Regional High School Building Committee. We will start with the, me finding the agenda. There we go. So thank you all for attending. We've just come from a tour of the building. I would say, and I'm going to ask other people to make some comments about the tour, but I'm impressed with how much has been done. There's clearly still a lot to go. Some of the walls, interior walls, still have to be framed up and stuff like that, but the different kinds of spaces are clearly defined, and there's been a lot of progress made since our last tour a few months ago. Anybody else? And I'd like to thank the folks from Casicli and KBA and Skanska for arranging the tour tonight. Thank you. Anybody else like to make any? All right, thank you. Let's go on to our...
And we're all shocked, Bob. We're in shock and off stage. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
it
was very good to see. It's such a, I mean, it's unfinished, but it's just such a dramatic changing atmosphere from the current school. It's very impressive.
And the technology, I was saying to Leah, it's like when I got rid of my 2007 Honda Minivan and got a new car, and you're like, wow, all of this exists. All these tools.
I'll say one of the things that we talked about as we were going through, it was basically all of the pedagogical innovation that's going to be possible because of the space. So just all of the different projects and learning styles, and there's so much that is going to be inspirational for the staff and the administrators that it's really exciting for the kids.
Yes.
I just want to echo what we talked about 15 minutes ago, and that is the bathrooms. One of my least favorite things about being a high school teacher was going into the bathroom, a closed bathroom with people unsupervised, misbehaving, and this is not going to happen.
For anyone who's just watching the recording, can you just explain a little bit about why it's different?
It's open to the hall in that the washing of hands and coming out of the stalls is visible. The stalls are all private, and they're. I could just see it happening in my mind that the discipline, the misbehavior, just can't happen the way it did in a closed class, in a closed restroom with people with idle time and in between classes. It really was my least favorite thing to have to be the adult in the room for.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please.
We was thinking an appropriate cadence for the committee is to do a walk approximately every 6 months. As we come along, I'll take your direction on that, but as we lay down the schedule, do you think that would be appropriate?
I would ask if there are going to be like major milestones in terms of completion that would drive the tours as opposed to just, if I recollect, D-wing is where everything starts and then it goes as a wave through the rest of the building. So, when D-wing reaches a certain stage of completion, it might be interesting to go visit that and see what is going to follow elsewhere.
All right, we'll take.
But at least once every 6 months, yeah.
So we'll take Consigli's guidance on that as we get to those benchmarks.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out on some of those key benchmarks, and I think right before the summer might be a good time where the auditorium, the high work is being completed. We're starting the low work. Some of the gymnasium high work will be complete, and then we'll be starting some tile, that type of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Everything will be framed out by the summer, so you'll be able to really see every space.
Is there any public comment? I was not informed of any. I don't see any. Next up is the approval of meeting minutes of November 2025. They were included in the packet sent out. Does anybody have any comments or changes about the meeting minutes? If not, could I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 20?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And C, tell us when you got all the names.
Yes.
Okay, all those opposed? Any abstentions?
Got it.
All right, thank you. Report of the chairperson, we had the tour, we talked about it, I think we'll just move on. Next up is reports, project status, and up-to-date reports from Skanska, Castle Blues, and Consigli. Mary Ann, who's going to lead the updates? See?
Christie, you wanna?
Christie?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So Skanska has kept up with all our sort of usual business. We go to the weekly OAC meetings, we have change review meetings with the Consigli team, MEP coordination meetings. Our field staff, Bob and Ashley, are out on site spending a lot of time in the building every day. They coordinate with FINA, they're our third-party testing agency, as well as the building enclosure commissioning agent's been out now that we're doing testing on the actual building. We did not see the MSBA this month. They'll be back out in January for another visit. We know they're working on the project funding agreement bid amendment. They've been asking us a few little questions here and there, but we should see a draft of that in the coming weeks. Aside from that, we've been having a lot of meetings about the solar conversation, which you'll hear more about later. But yeah, everything's going really well. I think that's probably our update for this month. Thank you.
Anything from ABA?
No,
Okay.
you guys saw the building.
Best update ever.
Consigli, have anything you want to add?
Nothing to add, just continue to make good progress. We're fully tight for the winter. You can see it's pretty warm and dry in there, so we do plan to make a lot of progress over the winter months inside. And we are also starting some of the exterior facade work with metal panels. I don't know if anyone can see from like the football field, we've started metal panel on the east side of the building. And then at the loading dock, we're actually starting some of the thin stone masonry veneer in the next few weeks. So that's all tented and tarped in, heated, to allow us to do the masonry through the winter months.
Excellent. All right, very good. Amy?
Yeah, what % complete would you estimate the project at right now?
Schedule-wise, we're probably like 25-30%. Same dollar-wise, about the same.
Ross?
Just thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick note, a thank you to Skanska, our OPM from the school district, for allowing us to have Bob Charest, who's one of the field folks from Skanska, on our site today. He participated in our director of facilities interviews. So just a thank you again to Skanska.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. New business would be a discussion and/or approval of invoice number 50 from Skanska for $203,770. Invoice number 25 from Castle Blues for $113,520. Invoice number 18 from Consigli for $5,119,308.80. Invoice number 3 from Beacon for $371.25. And invoice number 14 from FINA for $16,766.20, for a total of $5,453,736.25. Are there any discussion, is there any discussion or comments about any of those invoices? Could I have a motion to approve the invoices as read?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
Quick discussion point, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Bob. I assume Ross has
Oh,
approved and,
thank you.
Yep. Yes, we've reviewed invoices presented for this evening. They're all in line with terms of the contracts. We make recommendation for payment.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. Next is an update on the solar photovoltaic project, possible project. Where we left this last time is we agreed to a letter of intent with Select Energy to allow them to make some major steps in terms of providing a photovoltaic without really committing us to anything permanent. We are expecting to make some decisions in January, but we're going to get an update on progress to date this evening. Who will be doing that?
I'll
Mary Ann?
take that right here.
Thank you.
Good evening. So, since our last meeting, we appreciate the fact that you folks approved that letter that allowed us to move to the next step with Select Energy. We have confirmed with them that they have safe harbored the project. And what that means is that they have protected the incentive tax credits, which is good news. That was the goal of having that letter be approved. This allows us to continue moving forward with our evaluation of the options in a thoughtful manner, and it takes the pressure off of the timing. That was really the critical aspect at this point in time. So our goal is for the project is really to get the best possible rate that's available for the high school. And I know we've discussed it in the past that Ingrid has rules about curtailment for Bolton due to the solar saturation throughout the community. So we're looking at solar options with battery storage and also solar options without battery storage. And but in order to review that with the battery, it requires some engineering because there's complexities to developing that model and assumptions that have to be made. So we don't want to be in a position where we're rushing through the process because we do have, once the safe harbor was completed, that we are in a position where we can really look at this in a more thoughtful manner. We don't want to be in a position where we generate energy that we can't use, and hence, with that battery storage option, we're really working on what is the right size system for the project. Additionally, in the beginning of December, I have it here, we have a wonderful document from the Department of Utilities that actually speaks to they issued an order where smaller municipal projects, such as this one, may not come under the restriction of the curtailment that is being imposed by Ingrid. So given this new development, we are pushing Select Energy and our solar consultant to work towards developing an energy model, but not at the cost of future savings, but to really make sure that we're getting the best rate possible and we're right-sizing the system. So the pressure is off to try and make a decision in December, given these new developments, in January, and that we anticipate that the decision will be made based on a model and not on extrapolating, like, gee, we think it's going to be somewhere in this range. And when in doubt, it's always more expensive. And so we have the time here to allow them to go through that process, and we anticipate that we'll be coming back to this group in the spring. I can't give you an exact date at the moment, to discuss this further.
Could I try to summarize that in my own words to make sure I understood it?
Sure.
We're looking at installing solar photovoltaic capability as part of the new high school. Normally, whatever a generator of that type uses and generates and doesn't need, you sell to the utility company. But National Grid says that they're not going to accept any more from this part of Bolton.
Correct.
Or maybe from Bolton as a whole, because it's saturated.
Correct.
But the State Department of Public Utilities a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, sent out a letter that said they can't do that with a small project like this. And so,
What they said is they're going to evaluate it, and the possibility might be to provide some relief.
okay, so that's a big degree of uncertainty that's been introduced into the study, and we need more time to work that out. And we don't really know how much more time at this point. On the other end, there's no commitment, there's no need for, from a construction angle, when do you have to know what's going to happen, or any other licensing issues or anything like that? Is there any deadlines even way out in the future?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Consigli, but, you know, part of the contract that we have and part of the project is to have the building solar ready. So we are preparing for that, whether the, this project takes on moving to that next step or not.
Right.
By code, we are required to be solar ready.
Okay.
So we are going to continue to move forward with that. And then what we don't want to do is rush to say, please give us your PPA rate, power purchase agreement rate, because they're going to, if they do it without having the benefit of the time to look at the model and sizing the system, what we do know is that it will be more a higher rate than if we allow appropriate time to develop, for them to develop a model, because there's engineering that's required if a battery storage is part of this system. And we'll also be evaluating whether battery storage would be required or not, because of the curtailment. So it's really important to understand the implications here. We have requested a layperson's interpretation, and it won't come from me, it will come from an expert about what does this really mean and how does that impact us, and relative to the utility company. So, you know, I think the good news is we've taken that first step. We've preserved the incentive tax credits, and we have a window of time here, and we fully expect that we'll be back with this group reviewing what the options are.
Okay, Amy?
Yeah, just one question. So in this process, does the state usually get involved like this with issuing like an opinion on what Bolton wants to do with the, what
This is from the
utilities?
Department of Utilities, which
So do they review every decision, or is this unusual that they would?
I can't answer that question.
Okay,
I'm looking for an interpretation from the solar consultant.
yeah.
If what she's asking, you're asking, is that this isn't a decision related just to Bolton, this is a
Across the state.
Commonwealth memo, not a
I see,
specific
that's
project.
what I was
Yeah,
asking.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. Okay.
Yeah.
Any
Always.
other- Any other questions or comments? Once Select Energy completes their study, will they put some kind of deadline for us to accept it?
We haven't had that specific conversation, but I do believe that as a business, they'll make a value proposition, and then there will be some back and forth.
I hope there's time for the committee to be part of that back and forth, too.
Yep.
As I understand it, wouldn't it be that the school committee would have to agree to that contract?
If it was a long-term lease agreement, yes, because
Or
that would be
lease agreement.
something that would take place over a 20-year period.
And the plan you were talking about with the battery storage, that would be a long-term lease agreement?
It would be part of the design of the system. It would be part of the system. The question is determining whether or not we need battery storage.
Are they still going to produce an option of us buying the panels? Or is that kind of off the table at this point?
Well, I don't want to say it's off the table because that hasn't been discussed with this group. But I think when we come back, it's always relative to what you're comparing it to. So I don't want to speak about one option in isolation. You need to speak about all the options relative to each other.
And that's what will be put on the table for this committee to then make a recommendation to the school committee on
Yes.
which direction to go.
Correct.
Yes, we would not, we don't have authority to make the final decision, but we could recommend to the school committee. So it is unlikely that we will have a decision at the January meeting.
We will not be seeking a decision in January.
Okay.
Sometime in the spring.
Everybody okay with that? Rich?
So is Bolton an N-Star town? Is that the utility we're dealing with?
National Grid.
Oh, National Grid, oh.
Yeah.
The unique thing about Bolton
Okay.
is that there are 3 separate
Yeah.
lines coming into town.
Okay.
One line comes in from Marlboro, one line comes in from Sterling, one line comes in from Air. They do not connect to each other.
Okay.
So it's not as though Bolton is one homogeneous,
Yeah. Overall.
electrical entity or something like that. It's actually 3 separate electrical districts. All of them run by National Grid,
Oh, okay.
but the 3 separate lines don't interact with each other.
Oh, yeah, we're on Hudson Light and Power, so
Okay.
it was just kind of a personal question, because I was wondering if we ran into the same saturation problem in Stowe.
No, I mean, this conversation would be moot in Stowe because they don't do lease agreements. You have to buy them
Oh, that's good to know.
in Stowe.
Interesting.
What
The
do you
public
mean
ut-
they don't do?
The public utilities don't offer any of the stuff that the private corporations do.
Oh, okay. So
So-
Hudson Light and Power doesn't offer.
They have no lease agreements. You would have to
Okay.
buy the panels and be the owner
Well, we,
and be completely separate from Hudson Light Power. They would have nothing to do
well,
with it.
that's what
Oh, I see.
Select Energy is, right? Select Energy is, correct me if I'm wrong here, but they're a private company that could either install it and sell it to us, or the other option is they install it, they own all the equipment, even though it's on premises. They just sell us the electricity. That's another alternative here. So,
And National Grid would just be the intermediary.
no,
No,
No.
the way it would work is that if there was a decision to go solar, the discussion was, and the vote was, that we would pursue solar with Select, okay, because they're on the state bidders list, et cetera. Solar would provide supplemental energy. The solar system would not provide for all the needs of the school. So in an ideal situation, you would utilize what was being produced by the solar system, and N-Grid would supplement the rest, what would be needed.
So I guess that's a question in my mind. Then why is the curtailment, does that even apply to our system?
That's an N-Star issue.
So if we produce, let's just say, 100 kilowatt hours, right? The solar does, in the hot summer month. It's full on, but then the building only can use 75. What do you do with that 25? So normally, if we weren't in curtailment, we go back to Ingrid, but now Ingrid says, hey, we can't, we're too full, you guys can't send it back, so that's what the curtailment is.
So you're saying that some months the building would produce more solar than it needs, some months they wouldn't?
Yeah,
That
or
may
some
be the-
hours, it's like, we're looking at hours now, it's actually looking at,
Yeah.
per hour, not the month. So when they're doing the analysis, they're looking at what they're projecting, like, this hour, this month, this day, and projecting what the, where the sun is and all that stuff, so.
What the use is. But what I'm saying is that even if Select owned the equipment and we were leasing with them, N-Grid is the
no,
one.
buying
You're
the
not
electricity.
There's 2 separate
No,
entities.
we're not,
So who do we lease the panels from?
we don't. lease
Select
the
owns
panels.
them.
Select owns them. We lease, and we're allowing them to put their panels on the building,
Right.
and we're leasing the energy they create.
And the curtailment is strictly a national grid issue. So
And
there's
when
2 different
national-
issues that are theoretically separate. And
When
in
National
Hudson,
Grid sends the extra energy back, it's, Select is the one who benefits from that additional or extra that we're not using. It's
Oh.
not like we're gonna pocket a reimbursement from National Grid because.
I think that's what's gonna be explained when we bring those options to the table.
I think part of the issue now is how do you size the system so that it satisfies the needs of this building without ever having to send any electricity back to National Grid?
And that's because of the
I think that's my
curtailment,
sizing
because
issue.
if we were getting into the curtailment issue and we had too much power, but we couldn't basically send it back, then we have to change the size of the system. But now, like Hudson, with the other municipal, they may have no curtailment issue at all, so they say, oh yeah, it's fine. This is strictly a National Grid issue with the curtailment, and that's what's basically causing us to make sure the system's sized properly. And kind of I said this earlier, Marianne, the goalpost kind of shifted a little bit with this new information about the curtailment, so it's changing how we have to look at the overall design.
But we get to.
But the good news is we have some
We
time
have some
to
time.
do that because the building is being built solar ready anyway. So we're not in the pressure cooker. We did the work we needed to do last month to preserve potential energy credits.
And is everybody comfortable with this delay?
I don't think we have a choice.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Well, we do actually have a choice, but we could say, yes, keep going with it, but there's going to be a lot more variables that would cause the price. They would over-engineer things and stuff like that, so the overall cost would be more. So the best choice would be to wait so we have more information. So we technically do have a choice. If we wanted to push it, we could, but it doesn't really make sense to push it.
No, it's not necessary.
No.
Just wanted to say that as we get ready to do that, we're still going to examine the boilerplate contracts. Ms. Mulcair will be working with council to examine all those issues so that when we do get to that place, we're ready to go.
Okay.
I would just add, Superintendent Downey, that we also have Energy Tax Savers out of New York, who has been working with Consigli, KBA, and Skanska on potential Inflation Reduction Act rebates for end of project. If you recall, we put them on retainer over a year ago. They are also available to review these contracts, given that they're focused on sustainable and renewable energy.
Rich?
I just was curious if this was budgeted in the original project. Forgive my ignorance.
This was, a few months ago, we voted that there were $2 million.
Okay, yeah. So I remember this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Extra. So we decided
Put
to
on
So
hold.
we voted to go ahead and let's investigate this.
Okay, I remember that.
And it's no change to the final budget. It's part of, it's in the guaranteed maximum price is what I need the way I should put it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are there any updates on the website?
Nothing other than that, all of your pictures will be up there tomorrow when I upload pictures to the tour. But otherwise, all meeting dates and links are available.
Bridget, where on the website will these pictures be?
When you go onto the homepage of the district website, up in the top right corner, you'll see a Nashoba Regional High School Building Committee page.
Yeah.
If you click on that, there's a slideshow that rotates through with all of them.
Okay. All right, good.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is it time to decommission that external Google site? Has that already happened?
It's still on there, but kind of buried under additional resources. So it's there if anyone wants the historical knowledge, but it's not super forward-facing because it's not being updated on a regular basis.
Is it possible to perhaps make that apparent on the landing page of that site?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have access to it, Bridget, or if maybe.
I think I was given access to it, so
Okay.
I can try it tomorrow, and if it doesn't work, I'll reach out so that we can.
Okay, just so that people know it's no longer active, really.
Okay, good. Are there any other issues people want to bring forward or to put on the next agenda? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please sit on your hands.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
It was unanimous.